From the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, it's the opening round of the 1997 Supercross Series. Art Ekman. The hearts are pounding now. The engines are revving. And we're set now as getting caught in the gate was Casey Johnson. Number 1, Kevin Windham is where he ought to be, but he's getting some challenge right now from number 24. That's Robbie Reynard.
Reynard attacking him right through the whoop section. That's going to give him a boost of confidence. However, Windham's got patience.
So really, childhood rivals coming out of the amateur ranks are battling it out right now. Reynard starting to pull a little lead on number 1, Kevin Windham.
Perhaps led him into making some of the mistakes that he's made. When he is on, he is untouchable.
Hey, we got a fight going on. It's Brandis, number 33.
This is obviously something that was brewing.
And Rusty Holland. Brandis and Holland.
Right at the end of the whoop section, trying to take each other out. Not happy about it, obviously. Windham starting to close up now just a little bit on Reynard.
Looks like we're going to have a great battle for the lead. Here with the 125 main, as all alone in third place is number 586, Chris Wheeler from El Cajon, California. But it's Robbie Reynard on the Primal Honda, currently in first, with Windham right on his tail. About 8 seconds back to third place, David.
You know, Art, the interesting thing is about both of these riders is they both seem to ride very effortless. They're very smooth. Neither one of them.
Windham, the box. He got him in the box, and here comes Robbie Reynard coming right back out of the triple, bar to bar. Windham with the great speed and the acceleration goes into the para.
Well, that was a risky move. Windham jumped over the top of that plateau. If his front wheel would have gone about 2 feet farther, he'd have lost the front end and done a complete endo.
Oh, what a great battle. Robbie Reynard now in second place. Casey Johnson has moved up to fourth. But we've got Windham in first place, the defending 125 Western champion. And Robbie Reynard looking just to put in a good performance.
As I was starting to say, both these riders are so smooth. Neither one of them a lot of times look like they're trying very hard. You'll notice both of them stand up through some of the corners.
Both coming up through the national outdoor ranks and motocross as amateurs, and both getting numerous titles as amateurs in the motocross scene. Robbie Reynard having more trouble adjusting to Supercross than Kevin Windham.
I think it's been a little bit more due to injuries, and he hasn't been able to show us his potential. Outdoors, these riders are tied in national victories. They each have 4 national wins under their belt. But in the Supercross, it's pretty obvious that Windham, with that number 1 plate, has gotten it worked out a little quicker than Reynard.
Windham has got his timing down. He is very smooth. It'll be interesting to see now conditioning-wise. Windham should have a little more endurance than Robbie Reynard. And there you see the battle for third. It is still tight and still coming on strong. Casey Johnson. Can he get a test from Craig Decker?
Or what happens sometimes in the case of Casey Johnson, he works so hard in the early laps to try to get back up with the leaders. May have used a lot of energy, and now he's starting to feel those effects and the pressure from his teammate. Decker's just inching up a little bit each time.
Mitch Payton, I don't know. He's got to be on his pins and needles right now.
Looks like either way, one of his riders is going to end up on the podium tonight. Not on the top spot, doesn't appear, but he's got to be pretty happy with having one of his riders on the podium at the opening round. And both these guys look like they'll be able to challenge the leaders through this series.
Casey Johnson fishtailing a little bit, and Decker pulling up, but Decker seems to lose a little bit of space as they go into the peristyles. Decker holding on this time around.
A lot closer now. Casey Johnson's going to start feeling this pressure, and he'll have to start protecting his line. He won't be able to take the outside and maintain his momentum. And they're going to start catching up to some lapped riders here in a moment.
Of course, number 32 in front. As a white flag comes out, Kevin Windham is already into the whoop section on our final lap. Look at the smoothness of the rider, our leader.
He has the luxury now of about a 10-second lead. He can just cruise this last lap. I'd look for a heel clicker.
And the battle for third continues.
Decker getting even closer now. That whoop section was a great opportunity to pass in this racetrack. The rest of it's pretty tight. It's going to take an aggressive move to get by.
Decker, of course, racing at risk after that broken back, giving it his best here in his premier race of 1997 after a year off.
You can see there's a lapped rider right in front of him. That's Tommy Clowers. He's still taking that fastest line. It doesn't look like he's going to get out of the way. That could be to the advantage of Decker.
Kevin Windham, our leader, is ready to approach the checkered flag as we see this battle for third still continuing.
And you see Decker wasn't able to do the triple right there, lost a lot of time.
Here comes Kevin Windham. Checkers. Landmarks in Supercross history, the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. It's round 2 of the 1997 AMA Supercross Series. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Skip Norfolk, and Davey Coombs bringing you the action. We're set, ready to go for the 125 main event from the Los Angeles Coliseum. Windham gets out of the gate pretty good, but on the inside they get sandwiched, and flying through the air is David Pingree. Pingree messed up, going way across the track is also Casey Johnson.
I have a feeling Kevin's only going to be looking at the leader. He'll be keeping an eye on Reynard. His mechanic will be giving him those signals. All these guys in the middle don't really matter.
Windham gets by Ramsey. Windham is now 7 seconds in back of Robbie Reynard, our leader. So Kevin Windham on the move has the challenge in front of him. Roncada is just in front of him. Gentlemen, a pretty interesting story. He's the #1 rider, 125 rider, Supercross-wise out of France. Picked up a job with Chaparral. He is running the entire season now for Chaparral. Brian Deegan and Windham are going at it.
Windham has been so fast through the whoops tonight. We'll see if he can make a move here.
He's past Roncada. Oh! A big crash. Kevin Windham. As looking, it's tightened up the action. Brian Deegan, number 28, 24, Robbie Reynard. Reynard has got a battle on his hands from an unexpected rider, Brian Deegan. Whoa, what an upset of events right here for Deegan. Reynard, though, hanging in.
Reynard almost got him back there on the inside. He probably could have overshot that berm a little bit and taken Deegan out, but why get ugly right here? He's still got a shot at the lead. Maybe they both could have gone down. His mechanic said his arm's been pumping up. I got to think that's what's happening to him now, because he's faster than what he's showing us right now.
125 is Wilhelmine. And he's hanging up there close to Robbie Reynard, looking for a possible pass into second place.
And the amazing thing is, not very far behind these guys, and may start popping into view, is Windham.
These top 3 guys racing
incredible.
Right now. Yeah, these top 3 guys racing so tightly is slowing them down a little bit and allowing those guys from behind to pull right up on them.
Once Windham can see these guys, I think that's going to give him inspiration, and he'll pull out all the stops.
He's got Ramsey in front of him, and there you see Windham making the move on Robbie Reynard. So Reynard now moving back to third. It's obvious that he's having some pump problems.
That's the worst feeling in the world as a rider. If anybody's ever done one of those little hand squeezer tools or to try to get in shape when your arms pump up like that, you can't use the throttle, you can't use the clutch, you can't pick your line, everything just goes south. And right now, not far behind is Windham.
Here's our leader, Brian Deegan. Windham at number 125. Ramsey 38. Reynard 24. And Kevin Windham.
What a battle. Windham almost off the racetrack. Here he goes into the whoop section. This is where he had all his problems. Now he's taking the far right.
Here comes Kevin Windham. He'll have to take the outside track. White flag lap coming up. Can he get by? Yes. No. Bar to bar with Reynard. Oh, what a battle. He comes off the corner in the lead of Reynard and has Ramsey in front of him.
Unbelievable charge. We saw Rick Johnson do this one year here. Went down in the first corner. Had to catch Guy Cooper before the end. Got him right at the end and still won the race. It's possible, and Windham is showing us.
And for those Ricky Carmichael fans, the young 17-year-old is way back about mid-pack.
Little bobble there by Windham.
Deegan, Windham, Ramsey, and Windham in fourth.
Now Reynard trying to retaliate. He's only got about a quarter lap to go. He's going to give it everything he's got and try to take those points away.
This has got to be the thrill of his young career for Brian Deegan. As Windham goes down, the checkered flag, and Deegan lets his bike fly into the air. Standing with his arms in the air, Deegan just launched his bike off the finish line jump, hugged by Kenny Watson. Oh, what a day in the life of a youngster in the 125 action, and how disappointing it must be for this young man, Kevin Windham. Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum as we see #1 Kevin Windham, the defending champion with 6 wins last year, dominating the first round, goes down.
He jumped too far into one of the faces of the jumps. His front wheel landed in the rut. There was nothing he could do about it over the handlebars.
And the excited win as we see him launch the bike at the finish line. Hey, his first victory. Let's get out to Davey Combs. Davey.
All right, thanks, people. Hey, listen, Brian Deegan, congratulations. First of all, what happened at the finish line?
All I have to say, the first time I won at Supercross, I promised myself I would do something that no one else has done yet.
I think that was it. Hey, I know your mechanic, Kenny Watson, was running around. He was freaking out. He was so happy. What's it mean to you and Kenny as a team?
It means a lot. It's a big step for the privateer teams because we're out here and we mean business, and we're going to mix it up with those factory guys. And me and Kenny have been working real hard, and my trainer, Mark Smith, just been pushing my butt so hard.
Hey, is your dad here in the stands?
Yeah, my dad flew out. Thanks for coming out, him and my brother. Glad they're here to see me kick everyone's ass.
Okay, thanks, Brian.
From Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona, it's round 3 of the 4 Parts Unlimited AMA Supercross Series. Hello, everybody. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Marty Reed bringing you the action.
Art, you want to talk about domination by Kevin Windham. Take a look at this statistic. Windham in his heat race was 9 seconds quicker overall than Casey Johnson in winning heat number 2. That's over a second a lap, and David, you more than anybody can appreciate that.
Well, you figure if you get the whole shot and have a pretty big lead, it better be more than 9 seconds, which is a great big lead, or else this guy's going to catch you. And if he gets a good start, just hook on to the rear fender and hopefully you can stay with him till the end.
A record attendance here in Phoenix, 63,565 came to Sun Devil Stadium tonight to see Supercross action. This is the 125 main event. 15 laps of action. Last week's winner, number 28, Brian Deegan. Kenny Watson is mechanic now. It's Windham, Casey Johnson, Nathan Ramsey, Michael Brandes, Pedro Gonzalez, Craig Decker, Brian Deegan, Robbie Reynard, Stefan Roncada from France, Grayson Goodman, Christopher Wheeler, and David Willemin, also from France. A terrific field of 125 riders ready to go here in round 3 at Sun Devil Stadium.
Reynard and Windham right there lined up just next to each other. Reynard on the inside. If they get to the corner at the same time, Reynard will have an advantage.
The gate can drop anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds from now as they start to rev the machines, and we are underway. Windham with a good point, but on the inside, Windham, he got around the block. Amazing. Kevin Windham got around Jeffrey Pastana, 173. Not too many other people got out of that first and second turn.
Casey Johnson and Grayson Goodman hooked up in that. Unfortunate for Casey Johnson, he won his heat. Also a miserable start for Reynard.
Roncada is in second place. He took second in the World Supercross 125s in Europe. Roncada racing for Honda of Troy. Let's go down to Marty.
Sean, your man is doing a heck of a job staying with Windham.
Yeah, he's got a good pace going right now, and he got out to a good start. He had bad luck in his heat race at the start. Mostly he's just out here to get warmed up for the East Coast Series and get used to racing with these guys. This is only his second race in the U.S., and I think right now he's going to turn some heads in the East Coast Series.
Well, he's just coming by us right now, and he is within, a half a second.
Yeah, he's pretty close. We didn't really talk about so much racing with these guys because I know Kevin's out for points, and I'm not sure what their situation is. Right now, he's just going out for the experience, and if he can pull off a win, that would be great. That would be the ultimate experience, I guess.
Art, I would say this is some great experience.
Oh, his first race in America. He started in 4th, held on to 4th, and then ended up in 6th position. This would be quite an accomplishment, David Bailey. Roncada holding with the very quick Kevin Windham.
Even if he just stays where he is, it's a phenomenal performance from a kid we haven't seen a whole lot of, keeping with the newest phenomenon, Kevin Windham, who doesn't ever seem to make a mistake until that wild race last weekend, but an incredible ride so far, and you can see behind him there's no one in sight, so it's a two-way battle here. He can drop it and still finish second.
What a battle! Roncada just not giving in to the aura of Kevin Windham. He tries to block him in the corner and can't quite as Windham slips the screen.
He's got a good line here, though. He's going to get the drive off that corner. Windham is so good on a flat corner. If he wasn't, Roncada would have made that pass.
As Kevin Windham starts to pull a little lead, let's go back a little bit now to 3rd place. Brandis, number 33, is getting a heck of a challenge from 24. Look at Robbie Reynard, just cleanly sweeps by him now on the triple.
I talked a little earlier, I was watching one of the heat races with Reynard, and he got a terrible start, worked his way all the way into a great position. And I mentioned I thought he was better at riding from behind. He has nothing to lose, and he doesn't worry about being nervous. He doesn't protect anything. He just goes for it. Right now, almost last to 3rd is a great ride at this point in the race.
Reynard, and then also Pedro Gonzalez taking advantage of the boom. Number 35 going right by Brandis then too. The white flag is waving as we return to the 125 main event. Kevin Windham, so close now, only 1 lap away from winning his 2nd out of 3 races so far this year.
Heel clicker. I think we're going to see a lot of those this year. We already have.
Windham, Roncada, Reynard, Brandis, and Keeney are top 5 right now.
Here comes the other triple on the other side.
Lots of flash bulbs popping.
That one's just a little bit too hard to jump.
There's a lapper down there too.
Yeah, it's tough to get. There's a rock starting to come up. This track really gets chewed up. It's going to be tough for the 250s coming up. It's getting a lot rougher.
Sand out there, David. That's the first rock on the track I've seen. The checkers for Kevin Windham. And a great, great ride for this young man, an Eastern 125 rider, Stefan Roncada. Be a very thrilled young man, Robbie Reynard. Welcome to the Kingdom in Seattle, Washington for round number 4 of the Thor Parts Unlimited AMA Supercross Series. I'm Art Ekman along with David Bailey and Davey Coombs, ready to bring you the action. 32nd board is up, and here tonight we have a 1/900 Pro Race Hole Shot Award of $500 for the 125 rider that gets the hole shot. I can't see the chalk line from here, but we'll see who gets the first $500 award for the 125s.
They can't see it either, but they'll still be going for it.
That'll make things interesting, I'm sure, with especially guys coming from the outside.
Once again, it's on the far inside, Robbie Reynard. Whole shot of the heat race, see if he can do it again.
And they're off. What a pack. And this time, cutting out in front is number 35, Pedro Gonzalez. Pedro Gonzalez, Windham is back in the middle of the pack.
Windham got a bad start also right out of the gate. Reynard had a great jump, missed 2nd gear.
This is just what Pedro Gonzalez needs, a good start. Nathan Ramsey flies through the air from Team Suzuki out of Hickson, Tennessee. He's battling with Pedro Gonzalez out of Monterrey, Mexico.
It's also a great chance for Pedro's teammate Casey Johnson, number 32. He's up in there. Nathan Ramsey out in front. See him shaking it off. Some of these guys shake their head. I don't know what they're doing. There's Windham. Look at him just carve through the pack. He just passed Roncada. That's 112.
In 6th place, now moves into 5th as they go over the finish line jump. 1 lap completed. And our leader out in front is Nathan Ramsey with Pedro Gonzalez right behind him. And number 32, Casey Johnson is on the move.
He just boxed out Kevin Windham right there. Roncada's back around.
Roncada not letting Windham get through the turn.
Windham made the pass, then he made a mistake over the finish line jump. All those guys got him right back, so they're not letting him have it his way tonight.
Oh, this is a great start for Nathan Ramsey, as look at the battle pursuing behind with Kevin Windham and Craig Decker, number 141. Craig Decker, a pro circuit. Windham takes that short turn once again. Very effective against Casey Johnson. Moves ahead of Casey now as we see number 38 bouncing over those whoops, Nathan Ramsey. The next rider, Perolio, and Windham is in good position now to challenge the leaders.
Casey Johnson had a chance to get back in there on the inside again. Now, oh, Windham's off the track.
Oh, Windham suffering a bad start in Los Angeles, and now he gets cut from behind.
Looks like he's going to be okay, but just as he was re-entering the track, he thought he had enough gap.
Oh, let's take another look at this one. Number 586, Christopher Wheeler from El Cajon, California, gets in from behind.
Watch Windham, he even looks. I don't think he thought he was going to move out that far into the racetrack. Would have been smart right there to just wait for a second. Now he's got so far to go, I don't think he's going to win it.
As we take a look at our leader, Decker has moved into third.
Ramsey starting to pull open a little bit more lead this lap. Able to get over the triples. There was a couple laps there where we started making mistakes. I thought Roncada was going to get him, but he's responded to the challenge.
Oh! Down goes Ramsey. And Roncada runs right over him. That gives Decker a great opportunity in third. Here comes Decker, not quite yet. He was quite a ways off, about 10 seconds behind. There goes Decker by both of them. Decker, along with Willeman, number 125. Oh, what a battle now. Willeman is in the lead. This could be his first American win. Willeman, this was to be his last Supercross race before returning for training in Europe to get started on the GP circuit. If he wins this, I'll bet you $1 or more he's coming back for the next round. Willeman, who is fourth in points, has a good shot really at the title should he pick off a win here tonight.
Decker's just gone off the track behind the leader.
And so we've got another change of order. Boy, this track has proved treacherous on the 125s.
It's going to get even worse for the 250s. These ruts.
32 is Casey Johnson. There's Willeman, number 125. What a race he's put together.
At this point in the race, the way the ruts are, you can see Willeman riding all the way around the high side of that berm, trying to stay away from any of the ruts. Going to put the Honda stopwatch on and see what the lap times are. Probably pretty slow.
I'll bet they are with this tough track involved. A good 5.2 second lead on the second place rider as the white flag is out. This is the final lap of our 125 main. Can the young Frenchman win his first American Supercross? Number 24 having his problems is Robbie Reynard, and behind him is Kevin Windham.
This was a 20-lap final. Kevin Windham may have a shot at top 3.
The race to the checkers is on, and he's got to hold it all together now. It's composure time for the young Frenchman. Windham in 7th, unofficially, as I counted back.
Really a survival of the strongest, the smartest, the guy that makes the fewest mistakes. You see Willeman right here just not even trying to go for any of the doubles, just play it smart.
Isn't it wild that Ramsey, who took the whole shot now to the front, Reynard, who has done such a quick job this year, and Windham are all behind this young man. The checkers for David Willeman. Oh, he's got to be a happy young man. And coming across in second place, his best finish of the year is Casey Johnson with the Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Well, the 125 celebration will be a great one. I wonder if it's French champagne. From the RCA Dome in Indianapolis, it's round 5 of the AMA Ford Bikes Unlimited Supercross Series. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs, and Marty Reed, the past winners in the 125 here in Indianapolis. As you see here, 4 of the 5 anyway. Mikel Pichon, Ezra Lusk, and Doug Henry. I think it's significant that those last 4 winners here in Indianapolis have gone on to win the 125 Eastern Crown.
Scott Sheik's stock just went up after listening to the first heat race win. His first ride for Honda. Went right around Roncada, got into the lead and looking good so far.
Our Suzuki starting grid as we take a look at all the 125 riders, the future stars of this sport. I've got to agree with you. Scott Sheik looked very cool for being so nervous before the race.
Yeah, I know that he had a lot of pressure from Roncada, the Frenchman there. Roncada, of course, took advantage of that East-West rule, gave him a chance to get a few races under his belt. But to beat Roncada in a race like this, I think it did a lot for Scotty's confidence. I hope he shakes some of those nervous cobwebs out of himself.
Well, it's best to get into the win column early in the 125 East if you want to win the title. The rider who has won the first round of the 125 East only event has won the East Championship 10 of the 12 years that we've been racing 125s.
I'm going to bet on Carmichael, guys. I know it's his first East Coast Supercross. That's who I think is going to do it.
Will it be Tim Ferry, Sheik, Dowd, Roncada, Bogart, Carmichael, as Davey seems to think it will be?
Carmichael's lined up just to the inside of Roncada and Sheik. If he gets a good jump, he'll control that first turn.
They've got the chalk line right after the first turn, and we are off. Chad Pedersen will get the $500, number 25.
Well, Carmichael got the whole shot all right, but he couldn't make the corner. There he is, just getting going.
Pingree, number 57 of Pro Circuit. He has Curry in his sights. Curry currently in second place. We got some surprises up front here.
This has the makings of a fantastic main event.
John
Dowd
favorites has just moved into fourth place with a burst of speed.
Some of the favorites just behind this battle right here. Number 22, Tim Ferry. Also, Carmichael coming up from behind.
Roncada has moved into fifth.
You know, Pingree's a pretty aggressive guy. I think he's going to push some of these guys around. We just saw him do Curry there in that corner. Pingree is the assassin of this 125 class.
Number 25 is our leader, Chad Pedersen, and down goes. Yes,
it's Pingree.
Pingree goes down, and he takes a rider with him.
I'm anxious to see what Pedersen does late in the race. Like you guys said, he's used to that arena cross stuff where we're talking about, you know, 6-7 minute sprint races. Now he's on a big track, but at the same time, he's got a long race. It's going to be at least 15 minutes tonight.
Roncada, number 112 from the south of France, fulfilling a dream that began when he rode a friend's motorcycle at 4 years old in France. His parents gave him a Christmas present, and here he is in the United States in the main event of his first 125 Eastern Championship race.
And now just behind this battle, John Dowd coming through, then Tim Ferry, then Scott Sheik. Scott Sheik has worked his way into the picture. He's following Tim Ferry, who seems like he's on the move. These two guys have hooked up and caught these leaders. There's still plenty of time for them to challenge the lead.
Number 80, Sellards, is right behind Sheik.
Oh, here comes Roncada on the inside.
Oh, tries to squeeze a wheel in, but Pedersen looking back, accelerates off the corner. Nice move by Roncada. He looks like more of an experience than a 17-year-old rider, David Bailey.
He looks fantastic. He made a nice move there out of that corner. Let Pedersen know that he was there, kept the pressure on, took Pedersen out of his rhythm for a moment, and just slipped to the inside, doing a lot of little tricky moves like we used to see from Jean-Michel Bayle, coming out of nowhere and making a line where there didn't seem to be one.
Oh, look at here. John Dowd makes the pass. Now on Chad Pedersen.
Pedersen's throwing up a roadblock in front of Sheik. Sheik's lost contact with Ferry there. He needs to move around, and I'm telling you, Sellards and Carmichael aren't out of the shed either. They can move up on that Honda factory bike. Although there, Pedersen just missed some jumps, and looks like he lost spots to both Sheik and Sellards.
Carmichael trying to make a move on that double team. Can he sandwich through? Oh. Carmichael runs into the back.
I don't think he counted on Sellards to make that inside like that. Carmichael was jumping out of that triple, had nowhere to go but right into the side of Sellards.
John Dowd giving a tremendous part of our battle, but Roncada holding his line. Dowd going wide. He'll have the momentum maybe. John Dowd.
Dowd's got the inside. See if Roncada could square him off.
Roncada wisely staying on two wheels as John Dowd has moved into first place here with the 125 main event, round number 5 of the Supercross Series.
Last year, John Dowd became the oldest man, the first 30-something rider to win a 125 Supercross. He's going to add another year onto his own record.
The flash bulbs are popping now as Ferry buzzes his way by Roncada. Roncada going for the triple, has the inside, but Ferry had the speed. Oh, Ferry going all kinds of sideways. Almost lost it. Roncada now makes the pass back. Ferry, the checkered flag. From the beautiful Georgia Dome in Atlanta, Georgia, it's round 6 of the AMA Thor Parts Unlimited Supercross Series. Hello, everybody. Art Ekman, along with former champion David Bailey, Davey Coombs, and Marty Reed, set to bring you all the action. Number 14 puts on the goggles. Don't forget Chad Pedersen. He won the last chance qualifier after not doing too well in the heat race because of his bike. I think his bike stalled.
Out over the gate, yeah, the bike kind of stalled on him. He had a terrible start. He worked his way into good position, but not good enough. There's Ricky Carmichael. Everyone's calling him RC. I think this kid's going to be around a while.
Well, it sounds like he might have an endorsement right off the bat. Okay, we're just about set as that 30-second board is up. I think it'll go sideways almost any second now, and we will get our second 125 Eastern round underway. And of course, who will win the $500? The 1-900 Pro Race Whole Shot Award. It's not going to be easy to determine as they head into that corner. Karsten, number 34, he needs the money. He's got the $500. 22 on the outside. Cheek is down in the first turn.
Oh, he looks like he's okay. He's getting the bike going again, but he's got a lot of ground to make up. And now Tim Ferry worked his way into the lead.
Tim Ferry, along with Jeff DeMent, number 50 in second place.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened to John on the start, but he got equally bad. Last year, he didn't have such a great start, but all the mayhem we had out in front with McKelvey showing everything, he's able to sneak his way up in there, but he's going to need a lot of breaks tonight. He's got Roncada right in front of him. I don't know what happened to Roncada either.
They must have jammed up in that start somehow, but Tim Ferry, who loves the South, he's always run well at Daytona.
Came up a little short right there, but through this section, he's been losing time to Carmichael. The whoop section of all places for that short kid, Carmichael. Everyone says he's too short to ride with these big boys. He's making up all his time in the whoop.
Well, about the only thing he has trouble with is picking up a bike after he goes down. But if he doesn't go down, look out. He's only 1.5 seconds now in back of Tim Ferry.
You said that about Ricky being short. David, who's the other short guy, could go fast through the whoops.
Jeff Ward. Every time somebody tells me Mark Carmichael's is too short, they don't know if he's going to mature into a great pro rider. I just say, look at his amateur record. Look how well he's done so far. Look at the confidence this kid has, and look at him through the whoop.
Here's the battle for third. Jeff DeMent, number 50, and right behind him is Chad Pedersen, who had such a great arena cross season. At the first halfway point, which meant a $10,000 bonus, he was the points leader. But of course, signed up with Chaparral to come to the 125 East.
Yeah, one thing about Jeff DeMent, that's a kid right in front of Chad. DeMent was one of those people who oddly chose the 250 class the last couple years. I think it really hurt him. Otherwise, he would be one of those guys like Tim Ferry with a 125 factory ride.
Well, he thought he got the break when he got the KTM factory ride. It pulled him out of the privateer ranks, but it was not a good move.
No, it probably wasn't, especially since he's got the kind of height that requires some learning on the 125. They pushed him right in the 250 ranks. He had a good bike, but it wasn't the bike for him. What do you think will be more important at the end of the race, David? Ferry's experience or Carmichael's just absolute enthusiasm getting us possibly his first win?
Well, I think it's a toss-up, really. Carmichael goes to the inside. He could have gone out there and been maybe a little bit over-aggressive and taken Ferry.
We've got a race on our hands for the 125 Eastern Main here in Atlanta. Oh, my goodness. Here goes Carmichael. A great leap off the triple, but a lapper, and he clears it nicely. He looks more experienced than a 17-year-old rookie out there, I'll tell you.
I'll tell you what, I threw my arms up right there. I thought that was it for Ricky. Not only did he over-jump the jump, but he had to steer around that down rider in the corner. Very, very smooth for a 17-year-old.
He's riding with a lot more patience and poise than I saw last week. He's learned his lesson quickly.
John Dowd, as you mentioned earlier, Davey, getting stronger as the race goes on. He's pounding on Roncada.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Roncada's lasted in front of him this long. I mean, they came out of that first lap right there close together. John had a few things he had to get around and a few people he had to pass, but I'm surprised he still hasn't caught Roncada.
We're looking at the white flag lap now. Last lap for Ricky Carmichael. History in the making.
Well, I think we're going to see this a lot. Carmichael already wisely knows he's got enough space. Only went for the double or the triple. Here's the battle, though, still continuing between Dowd.
Oh, that's a good one. Dowd getting by Roncada. Roncada, though, wants to take it back again. Oh, and he couldn't make the jump. The timing was wrong. Final lap, final lap. Look at this battle underway in the 125s. This will really mix up the point standings as well.
Well, Dowd is definitely ridden hard. He's going to make up valuable points. Look at Carmichael.
Carmichael on the final turn now before the speed bumps, before coming across the line.
Very carefully.
Checkers. Ricky Carmichael, Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Tim Ferry in second place will now move into the points lead. Welcome to Daytona International Speedway for round 7 of the AMA Supercross season. I'm Art Ekman along with David Bailey, Davey Coombs, and Marty Reed.
Well, guys, Ricky Carmichael stunned his team. They were happy if he would have made a top 5 at Gainesville. And, of course, as you guys mentioned, he won it, and he was devastating in his heat race. John Dowd got down early, came back to qualify very well. In fact, from down here, the talk is maybe Dowd's the only one that has anything that can handle Ricky Carmichael today.
Not in the lineup, of course, Chad Putterson, who crashed in the last chance qualifier. Brian Deegan and Michael Brandes from the western side are taking advantage of the new 125 rules.
That's right. This would be the only time in their career they get a chance to see Daytona before they get in the 250 class. If they come back here, if they're not in the top 10 in the points in their region, taking advantage of that, something will help them out in their career much later on.
John Dowd leaning over number 14, getting ready for the start now alongside of Scott Sheik, number 29. And the gate has dropped on the main event from Daytona. The 125s are underway. 112, Stefan Roncada gets bumped. Wiped out in the first turn. They both go down.
Carmichael jammed on the brakes right there. Couldn't stop. He got sandwiched. Brandes also going down, and Roncada. So that's going to be an exciting battle watching those three work their way through the pack.
Boy, they really rammed into each other. And Casey Johnson.
Carmichael trying to bend his handlebars back up. It makes sense. He's already lost time. Might as well get that bike back straight before he tries his challenge to the front.
You know, we didn't mention David Pingree earlier because we were talking about the 250 class. Pingree has a broken finger. He's also got that to deal with, plus the fact that he's never seen this Daytona track as well.
You can see he's got a little handlebar protector like what they use when the tracks get real rocky to protect that hand on the throttle side.
Pingree, of course, last year breaking a right femur and then tore the ACL in his left knee in the same accident.
Dowd moving up a spot. He's got to stay in contact with Ferry, and he's got Sheik right behind him, too.
The 125 main event, we have a new leader. Tim Ferry has just passed David Pingree, number 57. Ferry in first place. Boy, would this be a great victory for Ferry, who's had a tough time this year.
I think he's done this right. He's patient. He knew what was happening behind him, and you can see that Dowd is coming. He knew the time was now to get into the lead and put Pingree between those guys. Hopefully that'll take Dowd a little longer to get up to him.
By a tough time, I mean a tough time getting on the top spot of the podium, because he started the Supercross season now with 2 second places.
Ferry working his way through that tough whoop section. Look at the pounding these guys are taking. Every lap, most tracks, these guys have a nice rhythm through there, but because of the sand and because of the way it tears up from lap to lap, these guys are getting really inconsistent through there. That's
as we see this
mistake.
Wonderful battle right here. John Dowd cuts to the inside of Pingree. John Dowd picking up an extra point there or two there.
Riding right through that deep berm with all those holes in it. Just taking the roughest line. He doesn't care where he goes. He's got the strength to do it.
Brian Ferry, big sigh of relief right there.
See how deep those lines are getting. That big hole right there is getting deeper and deeper every lap. I like that line there that Dowd has. He maintains his momentum around that corner instead of trying to square it. Makes up a lot of time each lap. He just carved about a second out of Ferry's lead. Look how close he is now.
One other Western rider, Jeff Willow, moving into the top 5.
You know, it's definitely a thinking man's track. You asked about the difference between 125 and 250. I've never seen 125s dig holes in a track like that. I can't imagine what's going to be like at the end of the 250 race. But from just the first lap till now, you can see the difference in this track, and I think that's going to pay off. That's going to play into John Dowd's favor, certainly.
Okay, now the leader, Ferry, with Dowd right behind him, is approaching some lappers. As we take a look at the Honda stopwatch, they breeze by Bogart. So there's no problem there. Pingree in third.
In that mogul section, Dowd not following, trying to take different lines. You can see him working inside, outside, partially to dodge that roost.
Oh, John Dowd showing a wheel to Ferry. Ferry glances back to see who it is. Big momentum going wide, trying to get swing off the bank and into the whoop section. John Dowd so strong, taking on bar-to-bar Tim Ferry. John Dowd, another pass. Can he hold on to the lead and not go off the track this time with time running out for Tim Ferry?
Well, they're both still getting over the triples, over the doubles right there. Ferry's trying to stay close, but it looks to me like he's done all he can do, and Dowd, it's just his day. Sometimes you get a guy catching you like that, he passes you, and you get a second opportunity, and he passes you again, and that just ruins all your confidence. And it may be that right now Ferry's just going to have to play it smart and settle for second, and hope Dowd makes another mistake. We're seeing what happens to a rookie who's getting those great results right off the bat. He was just going for a little bit too much on the start. It'd been a lot easier. He knows right now, it's probably already gone through his head that if he would have just backed off a little sooner, got through that first corner, he had a great shot to win this thing, but he's 17. He'll learn.
Lots of racing in front of number 70 as we take a look at a guy who really got started late in his career racing and went right almost to the 250s. Had very little experience in the 125s. Yamaha had the open spot for the 125s and moved him in there, and it took him a while to adjust to it.
You know, John Dowd's one of those cases like we spoke about before where a rider is a privateer for a long time. When he finally gets that factory ride, he appreciates every moment of it, from the free sign-up to the airplane rides to the spare bikes, all that. John Dowd used to sleep. In fact, when he won his first national, he drove home from California and to sleep under his bike in the back of a minivan.
Oh, no. Carmichael on the move. White flag. Final lap is underway with John Dowd. Boy, you talk about a confidence builder for Dowd. After winning the first one, yeah. Pingree, who was our leader in the early going, is still in third. He's still got a podium spot. He's probably lost a couple of the pounds right there, number 57, that he put on with all the cheeseburgers, taking Ricky Carmichael around his place.
Yeah, the thing I love about John Dowd winning these races, every time he wins a 125 Supercross, he pushes his own record a little further out. He is still the oldest guy to win a 125 Supercross, and now you can just add about a month onto it.
And pretty soon he's going to be a father.
And a winner of the Daytona Supercross. Nothing quite like that.
Oh, that's got to feel proud. The checkered flag for John Dowd. From the Metrodome in Minneapolis, it's round number 8 of the AMA Thorpe Parts Unlimited Supercross Series.
Kevin Windham is one of those guys who's just had an up-and-down season in this 125 class. It's surprising to see Billman here, but you know who's missing is our Los Angeles winner, Brian Deegan. He rode practice, hurt his ankle, and he's pulled out. His mechanic, Kenny Watson, is working with Paul Curry with Team Green Rider out of Florida.
And then you've got Nathan Ramsey, of course, with the broken arm before Daytona, and he's probably out for the rest of the 125 Western season. So it's Minneapolis, Houston, and Dallas. Just 3 races to decide a 125 Western title. A lot's on the line in every race. The 60,000 plus waiting in anticipation of a great 125 battle now. The 30-second board is up. When that goes sideways, they have from 5 to 10 seconds before the gate will drop.
They're nervous now. This is when it all comes to a head. As soon as the sign goes sideways, you forget about being nervous anymore, but right now, your stomach's in a knot, especially if you're going for a title.
Robbie Reynard revving it up along with Kevin Windham. Who will get the whole shot? The very early advantage. The $500 for the whole shot award. Kevin Windham into the corner first, and he comes out of the first corner first. He's $500 richer, but he wants the victory more than anything. Jeffrey Willow, number 45, currently in second place, but he's getting a big challenge right now. Number 71, Casey Lytle, is right in the mix with Villeman and Craig Decker. A good start. Reynard is down. The yellow flag is out for the back bunkers now.
I was taking Reynard. There you see, this is right in the right-hander before the triple. Took him a long time to get going. He's probably got about 10 seconds to catch up to the last place rider.
So a tough break as Reynard gets back into it dead last. Here's our leader, number 1, Kevin Windham. Windham with a whole shot and a win in Los Angeles. A whole shot and a win in Phoenix. Can he duplicate that performance? The real battle on tonight in the 125 main event is between 45 and 71. That's Willow and Lytle. Lytle, a Honda of Troy rider.
This triple right here that just went through, none of these guys are able to do it. I don't know if that's because they're all too tight, too much traffic. But Kevin Windham is jumping the triple there, and he's jumping the one they're about to approach, see if they can do it. Still going for the double, so every lap, Windham's picking up about 1.5 seconds on each of these triples and just opening it up more and more.
Villeman in third, number 125. Actually, he's in fourth. Villeman in fourth.
Even in that wide camera shot, trying to get a shot of where Windham is, he's still out of the frame.
Well, Villeman still very much in a points race if he can move up the ladder. There's Decker, number 141, making a good move. There we go with number 45, and that's Jeff Willow holding on to second place, but on the move right now is Lytle, number 71.
Well, Lytle's got the pressure from Villeman, so he's got to make something happen. Otherwise, he's going to drop a couple of spots. If he can get around Willow, maybe it'll take a little while before.
Here comes Villeman.
Mistake.
Villeman taking advantage of the mistake, and Decker tries for the inside. Decker also makes the pass on Casey Lytle.
That's what happens.
Casey Johnson, 3 riders in a very short period of time move in front of Lytle.
That's all it takes, one mistake.
Can they catch up, though, with number 45 currently in second place, Jeffrey Willow?
That was the best shot we've had of Kevin so far, going the other way, coming back. That's got to be demoralizing to see. You're in second or working your way into second. You look over 10, 15 seconds up the racetrack, and there's Windham just out there cruising around.
2 pro circuit riders battling back and forth. Casey Johnson and Craig Decker on the green bikes as they make an approach right now, trying to catch up with Willow.
I think it may be the same for the Team Kawasaki riders.
Casey Johnson making the outside move. Can 32 secure it? Taps him a little bit now. Willow comes one peg off. And he gets passed by both riders, Craig Decker and Casey Johnson. Johnson, number 32. He had his best ride of the year in Seattle, second place. Kevin Windham is so far in front of second place, there's no way he could turn around and see the other rider.
I don't really think he cares either.
He's cutting through the lappers one by one, and that's the good thing about having a huge lead on this short track, David Bailey.
You can afford to take your time a little bit. Being patient a lot of times is the quickest way around those guys anyway. As soon as you come up there panicking in a battle, you tend to make the wrong decision. And for Kevin, it's a lot easier right now having that big lead. This is the battle right now for third. Casey Johnson and Craig Decker, as the number 1 and number 2 riders are so far out in front, they're having lonely rides. Villeman in second place behind the leader, Kevin Windham. Here, 125 is second behind this young man, taking his time. Kevin Windham didn't bother with a triple, a heel clicker. He just pointed to the fans in the final lap. Well, these triples aren't that easy to jump. I don't think it's easy to do a heel clicker in the first place. I think we may see one here. He's going wide to get a run at it. Oh! That's what the fans wanted to see with that horrendous lead on this young man, number 125, Villeman. Villeman, quite possibly, could move into second place in the point standings. Good ride for Villeman. Fantastic ride by Windham. Every time he gets that hole shot, it's over.
125 Western Region riders are on the track now for their parade lap preceding the main event. Number 1, Kevin Windham, is on the track to reclaim his number 1 plate. The Frenchman, David Villeman, has every right to be happy with his 125 premiere in the States.
I come here for maybe 1 or 2 podium, only to try to make third place. So now I have 2 second place, 1 win, and so I'm very happy, and I want to try to win again and to have a good start. I try this week to work on my start, and I think it's better now. And now I think if I start in top 3, I can win.
He's won every other race this year, so he's trying to break that string and win his second in a row right now. Kevin Windham, if he does win here in Houston, will become the first, the only 2-time winner in the 125s in the Houston Astrodome. 32nd board is up, so we're just moments away to see if Kevin Windham can add to his points lead, or will Villeman and Reynard put the challenge to him amongst other riders.
plenty of guys that can challenge. Casey Johnson's one of them. Certainly Reynard's got the speed.
Corey Keeney has had good starts lately. Michael Brandis has had a good race or two this year. Willow comes off his best finish of the year.
The start makes all the difference. Not far to go now.
Okay, it's sideways. Any moment now. They're off. Who will win the $500 hole shot award? Kevin Windham, #1 on the inside.
You could tell from that shot as they left the gate, Windham got out clean and was gone.
Pedro Gonzalez, number 35. He's trying to muscle in for second place, along with 45, Jeffrey Willow. Number 24, Robbie Reynard, a great start. Robbie moving into third place now. Jeffrey Willow, number 45, trying to battle it out with 35, Gonzalez. Willow is just coming off a 5th place in Minnesota. He got a great start, and it was his best race of the year, matching with Daytona, but out in front. Gonzalez loses the spot to Willow.
Willow got aggressive.
Oh, Gonzalez comes back and pounds him. A little dirt right there. Welcome back to the Astrodome, the 125 main event. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs from this wonderful facility. The 125s are moving fast right now as number 24, Robbie Reynard out of Oklahoma, trying to catch up with the Cajun, Kevin Windham.
Right now he's losing about a half to a full second a lap. Kevin just keeps pulling away. Reynard's riding a great race. He's opened up a huge lead over Gonzalez, Willow, and Johnson behind him, but Kevin is just flawless out front.
Johnson looking for the opportunity.
And if he keeps focused on this battle right here, you can see Gonzalez just coming through the screen. He's right there too, so Casey could pull off a podium right here.
Casey Johnson makes the move on Willow. Great move. Villeman has now moved up to 7th spot. He's trying to collect some extra points with every move.
That corner before Thor Mountain is a tricky one, especially if you got a guy behind you, because Willow right there, if he'd have gone inside, wouldn't have been able to jump up over the hill. Johnson could have gone wide and got that extra momentum, so he decided to go wide. Johnson passed him on the inside.
Way out in front is number 1, Kevin Windham. You know, they started racing the 125s here in 1985 at the Astrodome. Eddie Warren on a Cowie was the first one. Do you remember Eddie?
I remember Eddie. I had a terrible night that night. I was leading it most of the way, and a couple laps to go, I hit neutral in a corner, didn't really realize it, time to put my foot down, and fell over. Ended up 3rd, dang it.
And there is a very unhappy David Villeman back up on the track. At last report, he was in 15th.
Well, he looked so good in his heat race earlier, and you can see right here he's behind these guys, and he gets around them both in one swoop, but really slowed up his momentum. If he was been running alone, been able to jump all the way into that corner and jump up over Thor Mountain. So that's the difference being in traffic or being out front where Windham is.
Okay, down on the track side is Davey Coombs. Let's check in with Davey.
Thanks, Art. I'm with Brent. David is Millman's mechanic. What's going on with David? He's having a horrible night.
I've sort of noticed. He got out the gate not too good. So far, he's fallen down twice. So hopefully he can regain himself and start catching up again.
Thanks.
Villeman came into this race 2nd in points. That'll disappear as Robbie Reynard continues to look strong. And here's the battle for 3rd. Casey Johnson is making a move. Number 35 is Pedro Gonzalez. Kawasaki of Mexico. Casey Johnson, the pro circuit rider who has had so many good races lately. Over that finish line jump, you get a good idea how high in the air they actually get.
Well, they could jump over a box van sitting down in between those two. And Casey Johnson went in there and tried to do a pretty aggressive pass. That's where we saw Willow try to get around Gonzalez earlier. Didn't pan out, and he almost wasn't able to get over the finish line jump. Art, I don't think it even matters if he stays upright.
He can still get up and win it, eh?
No problem. Here's the heel clicker. You can see that coming. The crowd's on its feet.
The final lap underway. Windham cruising. He's on the corner. Here's the checker. From the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida, it's round 10 of the Thor Parts Unlimited AMA Supercross Series. Hello, everybody. Art Ekman along with David Bailey, Davey Coombs, and Marty Reed. Scott Sheik, who did such a good job winning his heat race. And of course, the lone rider from Team Honda right now is Lampson in the 250s is injured and will not participate in the 250 main event. But these guys, Ferry, Sheik, Roncada, Dowd, Skaggs, Carmichael, Deegan. Deegan out of the 125 Western ranks. Jeremy Buell, a top qualifier from the afternoon. They're all ready to go now. As the gate drops, we are off. And a heck of a battle now for the whole shot. Look at number 70, Ricky Carmichael. Carmichael, the whole shot. Deegan, 28.
A couple of riders down in the first corner. That's Charlie Bogart. He's going to be the last one to get going, but Carmichael just muscled his way into that hole shot.
John Dowd and Tim Ferry in pretty good position in 4th and 6th. And Dowd has just now moved into 3rd. There's Carmichael, number 70. Looks like he could get lost in those mountains.
Well, he could. The jumps here, like I said, the track designers are making the track a little more difficult, and Carmichael is dangerous when he gets the hole shot. He can just run away and hide.
There we saw him crack that triple. The only one to do that. That's going to help him. If he can get away a clean break here while Dowd and Ferry have to go through traffic, he's going to be tough to catch, gentlemen.
Deegan, a one-time winner on the 125 Western Circuit, but had all kinds of problems after that, Davey.
Yeah, he's had a really bad year. You know, the series right now is just so dynamic. The tracks change, the winners change, the riders change. Right here we see Ferry going past Dowd for 4th.
Good pass by Ferry. Dowd, though, he'll come on strong later in the race. He almost hopped off the track over in that same area where Albertine went off.
Well, Ferry'd like to redeem himself from Daytona, where Dowd passed him, went off the track, and repassed him to take the win. I think Ferry's got a few more friends here in the audience. He'd like to do well in front of his hometown.
Carmichael already with a 4-second lead, guys.
It goes back to that thing. He's able to jump that triple. He's got an open track. I noticed that time Brian Deegan was able to jump the triple jump as well, but that's got to be a half a second a lap, and imagine when it does for your momentum in your mind.
Sheik is now putting some pressure on the rear tire of John Dowd, as you see him there, number 29. Much more aggressive in his qualifying heat.
He went down in practice this morning in a big water puddle. He was soaked. Looked like it really fired him up, made him angry. Went out and just attacked the track after that. And from my best lap count, he had the fastest times.
Carmichael now with a 5-second lead on Deegan. Then it's Sheik, Ferry, Dowd.
Greg Schnell up in there.
I should say Schnell, not Sheik.
Number 110, I got him mixed up.
Yep.
He's starting to apply the pressure now because he's feeling it from behind.
There's Ferry, number 22, second in points. He hasn't won a race yet this year, but he's had 3 seconds in a row.
That's a huge lead. And Ferry with the block pass on Deegan.
Ferry moving up the ladder. Boy, he's been riding consistent. It's just put him shy to the points leader, John Dowd.
You know, it's like someone just rang a bell. You saw Ferry make a move, then here comes Dowd doing the exact same thing. Now Dowd goes by Deegan. He's up in the 4th. Carmichael just keeps pulling him away.
How long can he keep it up? John Dowd, he's got good strength. Dowdy this time makes the move.
I saw it coming. Last 2 laps, like I said, he was just waiting to pull the trigger, but I knew he was going to have to make contact to get by Schnell, because Schnell's putting on a really fine ride on the Chaparral Yamaha.
Look at this kid go. He crosses it up, lands right into the berm, and this is the section where he's making all of his time. Over the double, or the triple rather, goes to the outside, because he has to, and gets a great run at that whoop section. He's going through there faster than everybody.
David, what did you think about the first time you saw Carmichael on a 125?
You know, I heard so much about him, Davey, and from the amateur races, but never saw him. But I had these huge expectations that he was just awesome with this great style, and I didn't really like it at first, but it's really starting to grow on me. I said this in Daytona. His style is all his own, and I like it.
He had the 19th in his first premier race of 125s and came back with a win and then a 6th place. Let's go down to Marty.
Yeah, one of the inside technical things, you know, every now and then we try and throw them out here. They changed sprockets. Chad Watts, his mechanic, went to a larger sprocket, and he says, obviously, he liked it.
Carmichael with a 10-second lead in first place.
We're coming up on Dowd's favorite section right here. Watch him skate across these whoops. All night long we see him go well and go inside, but that time he went on the inside on the approach. Maybe should have tripled and swung out wide and maybe got a better run at it that time.
Dowdy approaching this season with a different viewpoint, ignoring the points list. He says, in 1996, I was over-concerned with it. I blew it, and Pascal Pichon had an easy time of it. It's not going to be easy for anyone to beat me this year.
And you saw Dowd right now just reach up and grab a tearaway to clear his vision, following Ferry. You got to wonder how much of that he's got left as Carmichael still leads way out front.
Suzuki field summary: Carmichael, Ferry, Dowd, Sheik, and still Greg Schnell holding in the top 5.
Well, if Dowd had done that triple and still had that run like he'd been doing earlier, that would have been a different story. He's setting him up, though, because it doesn't appear as though Ferry can do the triple.
Lee McCullum, boy, what a job he did on Ferry's bike after the storm. Bent it all up. Here comes Dowd. John Dowd, the new papa.
Whoa!
And look at there. They tangle, and Ferry comes out of it in second place.
Unbelievable.
Oh, my goodness. And Dowd has really slowed down. Now he starts to pick up pace back up.
I can't believe Dowd stayed up because Ferry came into that corner hot.
Those
Took
guys,
the front wheel away.
Those guys, I know that Ricky Carmichael's gone with the win here, but those guys are racing for the championship, and that was a bold statement.
Well, that's what you got to do. Racing's racing, and
well, it's take no prisoners when the championship is on the line.
Right.
Carmichael, does he lay it out? And the fans going crazy here watching this 125 main event that's had a little bit of everything. The remarkable performance of Ricky Carmichael, but also the battle between Ferry and Dowd. And there she waves for Ricky Carmichael. From the Transworld Dome in St. Louis, it's round number 11 of the AMA 4 Parts Unlimited Supercross Series. Hello, everyone. Art Ekman, along with David Bailey, Marty Reed, getting ready right to the action now. 44,012 fans here in St. Louis await the start of the 125 main event. Roncada, Carmichael, Deegan, Sellers, Skaggs, Schnell. He's had some good runs lately. Scott Cheek of Team Honda. Jeff DeMent, Tim Ferry, Paul Curry, and the 30 board is sideways. The gate will drop anytime now. Let's see who gets the $500 for the whole shot award. Carmichael in a good spot, number 70. But it's number 34 who will get the $500, a privateer Barry Karsten. He can put that to good use.
Carmichael
is in second place, excuse me, David, as Carmichael just takes off.
Well, he didn't miss that whole shot money by more than a couple of inches, but look what's already happened. He's got himself a nice lead. He was the only 125 able to do that triple in first lap. And big problems for Ferry. Dead last now.
Ferry. Oh, more problems on this St. Louis track. You know, this is going to set up a great scene for Pontiac. And then Charlotte, North Carolina, the final 2 races of the 125 Eastern Points race, as Ferry is going to do all he can to pick up as many points as he can.
Roncada now starting to go to work on DeMint, goes for the triple. Then he almost puts DeMint up in the hay bales. And Brock Sellers, his first week on a full factory pro circuit bike, starting to work his way into the picture.
Doug DeHaan is right in front of Roncada now in third spot, as Stefan Roncada, number 112, is trying to pick up the pace to catch Schnell in second place.
You can see how close he's gotten already. Just in these whoop sections, he makes up a lot of time. Look at his timing through there. Actually came up just a little bit short. If he would have been able to get over that one more bumpy to hop all the way out. Makes up a lot of time right there. I don't think Carmichael's gone down, so that's going to be a big boost.
Trying to restart, he still has such a big lead that he still has a 5-second lead.
No, he's dropped 2 spots.
That's right, that's right. My correction.
Now he's taking the outside to the first corner. He's jumping over all 3 of those jumps, but as the berm starts, it's very abrupt. He was over about a foot wider that time. Front wheel got caught into the beginning of that berm, almost like the face of another jump. Down he went.
So as we pick up the action, number 70, Carmichael is in third. He's behind Roncada. Roncada making the pass. Roncada moves into the lead of the whoop section. Here comes Carmichael. They've got Schnell on the inside.
Oh, this is going to be a great race.
Cuts inside. Carmichael in second place. Roncada, who had a faster qualifying heat time than Carmichael, is out in front, number 112. The mechanic's busy, putting instructions down on the pit board. Right now, though, riders know what they have to do.
Well, they do, but it also helps to know how many minutes are left. You completely lose track of where you are in the race. Earlier in the series at LA, Lusk didn't realize he only had a couple laps to go. Otherwise, he really felt like he could have made the pass on Henry.
Oh, Carmichael with a great leaping move. Roncada, though, puts him down. Carmichael trying a little bit too hard right there, and Roncada had great position.
Well, all he did was just move over just an inch or two, and hold his line. Carmichael had nowhere to go. He rode the hay bales all the way down that straightaway. Watch him. He's gonna come down right on a hay bale. Then he goes over this next double, lands on another hay bale. Then Roncada just says, nope, not here. Had nowhere to go but on his head.
So Roncada, with good strong strategy, has failed to crack under the pressure from the young phenom, Ricky Carmichael.
There's a lot of pressure, too, especially when you got a guy that's trying to take a foot of racetrack and make a pass on it. All he did was hold his line. Luckily, it didn't tangle handlebars. When came down off this triple right here, the last lap, Roncada didn't go for it. That's what set all that up.
The big question, can number 70 put on some steam and catch up with Ferry to stay in that points race? We're in the middle of the last lap as Carmichael just cruising it out right now as best he can.
You can see the left side of Carmichael's handlebars bent as the checkered flag flies for Roncada.
Stefan Roncada, his first Supercross win in the United States. The Honda of Troy rider has to be a happy young lad from Nice, France right now. We take a look at those riders placing in the top 10. Let's go down to Marty Reed, who's with our winner.
Yes, a very happy Stefan Roncada down here in victory lane. And this was a battle for survival out there. A lot of contact, especially with the track. A lot of guys going down.
Oh yeah, you know, I did a very bad start. I saw all the guys falling in front of me, and I was lucky that Carmichael fell, so I can took the lead. And after I did a good race, and I'm very happy to finish first. And I mean, that was my dream, and tonight I'm so happy.
From a sold-out Pontiac Silverdome, it's round 12 of the AMA 4 Parts Unlimited Supercross Series. The 125 riders now are on the track as we take a look at the Suzuki point standings. They're showing Tim Ferry could wrap up the 125 East title if the chips fall right tonight. A win and a sixth or worse place finish for Roncada would give Ferry the title.
You've got Carmichael and Ferry, all those guys lined up to the far inside because that first corner is so wide. The guys that hole shot and drift wide get taken out by the guys on the inside.
There's Tim Ferry and his mechanic Lee McCullum.
Big deep breath. No matter how long you race, you still, I get nervous up here, dang it. I wish I could get over that.
If you were in Ferry's position, Ferry has not won a 125 race this year, but he's leading in points. You'd be racing Roncada, not whoever is out in the lead, wouldn't you?
I'm strictly racing for the title, and if that means I got to get a fourth, I'm getting a fourth. I don't want to be proud and try to win it. We've seen that backfire before. The one that's probably the most famous, of course, it happened outdoors, was Rick Johnson lost a 250 title in 1982 trying to win races.
We're just a few seconds away from seeing who wins the 500 Hole Shot Award. 1/900 Pro Race Hole Shot Award. Will it be number 22, Tim Ferry, as they start to rev up? Our 125 main event is now underway. Oh, Ferry got a decent start. He's to the inside. Ferry cuts across the line first, but taking the lead is Jeff DeMint, number 50. Ferry, number 22, to his outside. Ferry now moves into the lead in the whoop section with DeMint right behind him. And Nice side by side. Nice number 85, Carmichael number 70. Carmichael coming off the hill out of the stands. He's got Jeff DeMint, number 50 from Humboldt, Texas, right in front of him as Tim Ferry tries to draw a lead. Look at that leap. Oh my goodness, Carmichael.
I told you, keep your eyes on this kid.
Carmichael's in trouble. He hits the hay bale. So once again, being a little over-anxious, maybe.
No, way too over-anxious.
He still has time to win the race, however.
He's still got time, but that's if Ferry beats him, then that eliminates Carmichael from the title chance. So right there, maybe a little bit too over-anxious. Here's another look. Carmichael was laid over a little bit too far as he tried to go for that double. He didn't make it over all the way, and it just washed out underneath him. Now Ferry's got a great lead, and he's got none of his contenders anywhere close.
A 6-second lead for Tim Ferry.
This is going to be a great battle, though, between Sheik and Roncada. I have a feeling sandwiching Jimmy Neese in there.
Here's our field summary. Brought to you by Suzuki, Ferry and Sheik. 1 and 2 as Sheik now starting to pick up some time on Tim Ferry.
Well, Ferry will ride fantastic. We'll see him ride great. There goes Roncada around Nice into third.
Well, we're down here looking alongside with Lee McCullum, and he's telling his man to breathe, and he's a little too busy to talk right now. Wait till he goes by this time. He's coming around the last corner. Let him give the signal, and he's got a battle on his hands.
Scott Sheik to the outside. Can he get around? He's going to try to cut inside, but Ferry protects his line. Here's the battle. Scotty Sheik. Oh, my goodness. Scott Sheik his first lead.
Something's wrong with Ferry, definitely. It's been happening for about 3 laps now. I think his arms, that's all I can see is his arms got to be pumped up. And for anybody that doesn't know what that feels like, well, believe me, he wants to go a lot faster than he's going right now and win his first title, but there's nothing he can do. His arms are totally numb. You can't feel the clutch, can't work the throttle right, and these guys are gobbling him up right now.
Roncada really has him in his sights right now.
It's nerves, too, that enhance that arm pump whole process. The more nervous you get, the more uncomfortable you are out there, the more you're out of your rhythm and holding on different, tighter, and that's what caused him to pump up. Now he's got pressure. That makes you more nervous. Now he knows the title. These are points he's going to lose. And uncomfortable. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes right now.
Sean, you got to be happy right now. He's charging real well.
Yeah, he's got a good pace, but he needs to get by Ferry. Sheik's going to get away if he's not. Yeah, he's going to get him right now. So I don't know what Timmy's problem is right now. He looks like he's making a few mistakes, like he's getting tired. And I think we got 6 laps left to go, so there's still time to win it, to get Sheik. So hopefully we'll see who the stronger guy is.
Welcome back. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Marty Reed from the Silver Dome. Scott Sheik, our leader, is down. Roncada breezes by him. Oh, what a bad break as he leaned into that hay bale. 7-second lead for Stefan Roncada. Looking back to fourth, Jimmy Nice, and here comes Ricky Carmichael. Ricky Carmichael does the double-triple. Can he catch Jimmy Nice as they head around through the mechanics area?
At the pace that he caught Nice, it seems inevitable, and there he goes. Over the triple.
Please send money. Ricky Carmichael really doing a great job getting back up there. Taking a look at the Honda stopwatch, our leader Roncada goes through the whoops. Here comes Ferry. We'll get an indication anyway as Ferry slows down to about a 7.5-second deficit, and Sheik is back at about 11. But here comes Ricky Carmichael. Look out. So he's got 3 laps to go to pick up 17 seconds.
I bet he could get used to this winning stuff.
Well, it's a good target for Carmichael. If I'm going to be a consistent champion, I've got to develop more consistency like this guy right here. He lives about an hour from Nice in the southern France. The checkers for Roncada. Tim Ferry in second.
Still a strong ride for Ferry. I don't know what happened to him, but salvaging his second isn't bad.
From the famed Charlotte Motor Speedway, it's round 13 of the AMA Thor Parts Unlimited Supercross Series. Hello, everyone. Art Ekman along with Davey Coombs, former all-time Supercross winner Rick Johnson, and Marty Reed. We're ready to go for the main event from the Charlotte Supercross. The 125s are underway. Timmy Ferry, number 22, great break from the gate. Oh, it looked like it almost is a tie for the whole shot award, but there's a tie for last right here.
Oh, definitely. We got a big pile up in the first turn, but it's none of the big players. So I think we're still going to see a very strong race for the lead here. Timmy Ferry got the whole shot, but remember, he's racing for the championship. So what he's probably going to be doing is watching for Roncada.
I see Carmichael and Nice and Roncada right there behind Tim. But the guys we lost in the first turn include Dement and Brian Deegan. That hard luck season continues.
Along with Schnell. Out in front, Tim Ferry. Can he hold on with number 70 and number 112 right behind him? Pressuring in third. Roncada has got Jimmy Nice behind him in fourth.
Well, I think what you're going to see now is Timmy Ferry just try to relax and get comfortable. You know, if I was him, what I try to do is not worry about Ricky Carmichael and Roncada. Just keep my eye on those guys and think about this championship. He's made it through the first battle, and that's the first turn. Now he's got to get to the checkered flag.
We might incidentally note that Scott Sheik is not racing tonight of Team Honda, a rotator cuff injury. Team Honda's not even here on site with their semi-truck. 5 second-place finishes, a 5th at St. Louis, but those 5 second-place finishes put him consistently on top of the points, Davey.
You know, another one of those little cases of irony, or rather maybe a coincidence. Rick, what was your number in 1982 when you lost that title?
Number 22. So, you know, I think that, you know, I really admire Tim Ferry that he's taken his time. You know, this is what championships are made of. If you win with second place, well, you obviously did something better than the other guys. You know, if you DNF for some races and that's what a championship is all about. You got to win the war, not just the battle. And Ricky Carmichael's been tough in each battle, but he's lost a few, and that's what's killed him in the war.
Last year's best finish, third places at Orlando, Minnesota, and Daytona. His last 125 wins came in 1995 at Orlando and Daytona. Stefan Roncada in our picture right now. What a series of consistency this guy has had. Oh, and just as I say it, Roncada goes Superman flying down.
Yeah, he just maybe got a little bit too comfortable in that gap there, but now he's got to get up and try to get going before Tim Ferry comes and deals with him. But I think if you watch, Tim Ferry's not even going to bother with him.
I think we can throw away that smooth as bail quote I was getting ready to use.
You were all ready, too. Look at this.
He's coming through the whoops right there. He lost his footing, and now all of a sudden that threw his balance completely off. He's over the bars, and then he just hung on to it. He's lucky he didn't go down hard and go completely over the bars.
Roncada, 3 podiums in 3 events this year. While we were away, Tim Ferry is able to take advantage of Roncada and move into second place. Ferry just into his natural rhythm right now. He probably made the best move now. As number 7, he goes for the most wins in the 125 Eastern season.
Yeah, you know, for Carmichael, what he's going to have here is maybe a de facto championship. And by the way, Roncada just made a
just got him back.
Yeah, the last time they came through, just to cut back to these two guys, Lee McCollum, Tim Ferry's mechanic, put out eyes in the back, and he showed it to Tim Ferry, which might have meant, look out, Roncada's behind you, but he showed it to Roncada too, maybe letting him know that they're watching him if he tries a takeout move somewhere in the back part of the track.
If Ferry can hold upright, Suzuki then has their 10th 125 title in 26 occasions as far as chances during the season.
Yeah, what do you think that's going to mean to them if they get a 250 title in a couple weeks here? First one in a long time there.
Well, Roger DeCoster can smile and take a deep breath.
Well, it'll mean a lot to them. They've had a real long dry spell when it comes to 250, but you know, we haven't been talking a lot about this kid, Ricky Carmichael. You know, he's just been out there putting it to him, basically doing what Jeremy McGrath was doing to everybody last year. So I'm really impressed with the enthusiasm and the effort and everything that he puts into his riding. He's going to be a factor for a long time.
Tony Berluti looking on, Team Suzuki.
Tony's got some experience with some championships. He got Damon Huffman to a couple out in the West region.
Ricky Carmichael, number 70. What a joy it's been. Exciting, no matter what happens with this kid.
Yeah, you watch him jump. He uses the best of his shortcomings. We got 1 lap to go, but you watch him. That kid uses everything he's got. You know, his short body. He moves that thing around the bike, and he just really works it.
In our final lap, Schnell has moved up to 5th.
Rick, does Ricky Carmichael remind you of Damon Bradshaw in 1989?
Yeah, he does. He hits the jumps with everything he's got. His feet are off the pegs half the time, but if you notice, he's real balanced, waving to the crowd, really confident, and that's the kind of stuff that once you get a hold of it, you want to hang on to it as long as you can, because it can be anything that takes that away from you, and it'll be a little bit different when he gets on a 250. Carmichael
looking to win the battle, but Ferry looking to win the war.
Well, while we got a second here, I'd like, and I know you would as well, I'd like to say hello to David Bailey. Sorry you're not here, and we always have a blast when I get to work with you, David, so I hope everything's going well, and I'm not going to see you at the next telecast, but these guys will.
I hope so, David. Get well soon.
Did you see that Bailey light cross up there?
Yeah.
David Bailey could throw the bike sideways like it was no one's business, and Carmichael got the same rhythm.
And Tim Ferry can roll over and get to the finish line.
Whoa! Look out there. Lee, a good thing he wasn't watching. Show me.
Show me the money is what he's going to say.
That's it. Show me the money, yes. As Tim Ferry is looking for his first championship since Loretta Lynn amateur days. Here's the checkers for Ricky Carmichael. His 3rd win of the season.
He's a superstar.
And Roncada will take 2nd place. Here comes the newly crowned 125 Eastern champion right now, Tim Ferry. Team Suzuki.
A very rare second place knack-knack, or rather I should say third place there. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen someone throw a knack-knack from third.
Hey, that's an awesome feeling, something that you work so hard for. And if you notice, you see the Yamaha mechanics and other people congratulating him as well, because everybody knows how hard you work. You know, that was John Rosenstiel that worked for Brock for so many years, and Marty Tripes and everybody. So he knows what it's like to put in a whole season to win for a championship. And it's great to see camaraderie between riders. Ricky Carmichael knows he has won the battle, but he knows that Tim Ferry won the war.
From Texas Stadium, the home of the Cowboys, it's round 14 of the AMA 4 Parks Unlimited Supercross Series. There's Kevin Windham. He has never raced in Supercross as a pro under these conditions before the heat race tonight.
You know what? This is the first mud race ever for my professional career. There's been a couple of mud races during heats and practice, but like Charlotte last year was wet and it dried out. But I have some amateur experience with it, so hopefully that'll shine through tonight.
Kevin Windham running away with that heat race earlier off a tremendous 250 warm-up as well. Second place at Pontiac and his very first 250 win at Charlotte. He's ready to move on, David Bailey.
Anytime you come off a 250 with those kind of results, your confidence is soaring, and the way he rode his heat race, looks like he's not going to have too much trouble other than with Robbie Reynard, who looked fantastic in his heat. Actually looked like he was maybe a little quicker. Both those guys got great balance. That's what it's going to take out here. The question is, where are they going to gate?
Can Kevin Windham put the nail into his second 125 Western Championship here tonight? He only needs a 15th or better as we're almost ready to go for the 125 main event. It's underway. Deegan, Windham. Windham gets a good last-second push into the corner.
And right next to him was Robbie Reynard, but he got caught up in that jam.
Sean Perelio, number 81, battling with Clowers in third and fourth. Clowers now in third. Casey Lytle in second place, number 71, already over the jump. These 125s behind Windham are having their problems.
Windham makes it look like these guys are having problems because he's so smooth, but as I was starting to say a little earlier, it looked like the track was developing into a one-line situation. You can see in this battle here that it's plenty of places to pass and get side by side.
Now here is the former whoop section. They cut them all out before the main events. So it's a speed race right down the chute.
Clowers getting a little bit better drive. Sorry, Skip.
Yeah, it was really one line in this section. It's probably a good thing that they did open that section up, and it's going to allow for some good racing tonight.
Rusty Holland is coming into this picture right now. Rusty Holland coming from behind, battling in fifth position.
Windham, spick and span out there, clean, working his way into the former whoop section, flying through there like there's nothing there because there's not.
He's definitely just out there by himself, just cruising around. It's got to be great for him now. Allie's just going to need to keep him concentrated on, there's the rest of the race and not getting too focused on what's going on behind him.
Here comes Rusty Holland. He's trying to make a move right now on Tom Clowers. Holland, after a very disappointing season this year, 2 non-qualifying races, 1 he didn't finish, 20th twice. He's had 2 9th-place finishes. Boy, with a good race in this one to finish the season out, that'll make you feel better in that off-season or going into the outdoors. Holland dropping back now. Making the move is Casey Johnson, number 32.
Reynard out-jumped him over that double jump, made the pass.
There's Reynard, 24. Johnson, 32, right behind in front of his Clowers.
Reynard, when he gets a bad start, rides a lot more aggressive. So we've seen him get the whole shot, start to get a little nervous and experience that arm pump problem. And when you come from behind, you don't worry about arm pump. You're just mad that you got that bad start. He blew an opportunity. He was right there next to Windham, and now he's going to ride as hard as he can and hope maybe Windham makes a mistake, because the best he can hope for if Windham stays upright is the second place here today.
White flag lap for Kevin Windham. It was only the second time in 125 history that a rider has taken a title in 125s without winning a race.
I'll tell you right now, poor Allie, this has got to be the toughest lap of the year so far for Allie Seymour. Just thinking down there, just crossing everything he can right now.
There it is, the champ getting ready to show it to him. I think think he's pretty confident about it. I think he tightened everything. What goes through your mind, Skip? I mean, what are you thinking when Jeremy's got a lap to go?
I try not to think, because then I just ruin myself.
A heel clicker in the mud.
Oh, the champ. Allie and Kevin own a house together where they train in California. Another heel clicker on a double. The checkers for the champion once again. Hello, everybody, from Sandpoint Stadium, the home of the Running Rebels of UNLV. It's the final round of the 1997 Supercross season.
Everybody's able to have one bad race, so if I do have a bad race, I don't want everybody for the next 5 years saying, yeah, you won a 250 and you're the only guy to ever do it, but still Ricky beat you this year, And that's the bad thing. I'd feel a lot better if there was 4 of them. I'd feel a little better about if it doesn't happen here, it'll happen somewhere else. I felt like I've had a great season, so I definitely got my work cut out for me here. This is probably just as important as, well, more important than any race of the entire season yet this far.
I'd like to think that I could win. I think it's going to be a good race if we come out 1 and 2. It's going to have to be that way because we're both about the same speed. So, it's really no pressure on me because, I shouldn't win. It's my first year. He's been in it for 2 years. So, he should be a little bit more faster than me. But I'm doing really well. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's going to be where the start is, that's for sure.
Basically, I had to win the championship this year, and I couldn't take any extra chances that weren't necessary. And I didn't, and now I won the championship. Now I can go out here, and if I crash, I crash. At least I'm going for it, and I'm trying.
Last year, we had the most East-West matchups of all time. 4. Windham took 3 out of the 4. Pashon, the lone victor on the other side of the fence. But here tonight, who will get the bragging rights? The East Rider or the West Rider? The West has won 19 times of these matchups. The East 11 times. Who now will get the 1/900 Pro Race Whole Shot Award as they are off? And it's 57 on the outside gets the Whole Shot Award. Yes, David Pingree. But taking over things right away is Jeffrey Willow.
And right there already, side by side, Carmichael and Windham. Carmichael gets the edge.
Windham to the inside, bar to bar. They jump into the corner. Oh, what a great race behind the leaders. Here comes Carmichael, number 70.
That was close, very close. Carmichael had no room. No room at all, but he got aggressive, kept it upright.
Here's Carmichael giving the pressure to Jeffrey Willow of Team Nolene Yamaha. His best finish, a 5th. In Minneapolis. Carmichael, of course, with an up and down season. Blitzes by on the short whoop side. Now goes into the long whoops. Can he get a lead on Windham, who's back in 4th, gunning for 3rd?
Oh, you can see Windham. He doesn't care about anybody else but that number 70. He wants him. That's what it's going to come down to, it looks like. Not taking anything away from Willow.
RC pulling out now as here comes Windham. Windham's going to make the move on Willow, and he passes easily into 2nd place. But does Windham now have the smooth technique to catch up with the blistering speed of Ricky Carmichael? This is the showdown we wanted to see.
This is I think what everybody was anticipating. Sure, there's the Ferries and the Dowds and the Sheiks, but really the story has been Carmichael and Windham, and here they are 1st and 2nd. It's not over.
Windham, of course, taking 3 victories in the East-West matchup last year. He has 11 total 125 victories in his career. As Kevin Windham and Ricky Carmichael start to get into the lappers. Jeffrey Willow, who had such an excellent start in this moto. It's through the long whoop section. Carmichael, the winningest 125 East Rider. He led every lap in one of his races. And one of his outstanding races at Pontiac, he crashed early, went from 13th to 1st place.
Look at Windham right there. Just looks like he's on a trail ride. He keeps getting close right there in that corner rather than try something else.
Oh, Windham to the inside. Kevin Windham with Ricky Carmichael right on his tail.
This cut all the way across the track, took that line right away. Carmichael says, okay, right back at you. Look at
how tough the youngster is, 17 years old. He's going after Kevin Windham right now.
the finish of that pass where they came together a little bit right there, and Windham just backed off. Smart, because he's still in contact.
Oh, Windham goes by in the whoop section. Carmichael making a mistake there. Very smooth technique of Windham winning out in that particular sortie. Our coverage of the 1997 125 shootout continues from Las Vegas in a moment. Welcome back to the 125 shootout in Las Vegas, Nevada. Out in front, it's Kevin Windham and Ricky Carmichael as we take a look at our Suzuki Field summary. David Pingree a surprise as he's had a miserable season. He's trying for a positive point before the season ends. Scott Sheik after Pingree, and there is the battle right now. Sheik, number 29.
It's a great battle for fourth. All these guys
That's Dowd,
stealing each other's lines.
Dowd and Decker. You know, you wonder what's going through Chad Watt's mind, the mechanic of number 70, because you really can't do much about it once he's out there on the track. How about it, Davey Combs?
But, Chad, it looks like Ricky's not playing on his game, and he's giving him everything. You're going to tell him to go after Windham.
Yeah, and Kevin's riding really exceptionally well right now, and Kevin is definitely doing the job he's got to do, and Ricky is not quite up there right now.
Maybe not the best time to get with them, guys.
He's not up there at all. It's Ricky Carmichael hitting the dust in the whoops here in Las Vegas.
Tangled with a lapper getting through there. It's really tough to maintain a straight line through there. I'm sure it was an accident from both their parts, but Ricky losing a position to his teammate Pingree, and here comes Dowd on the inside.
John Dowd, a strong finisher, known mostly for his longer race kind of techniques rather than a real tight track like this one here in Las Vegas. But he has run an absolute beautiful third place run. Welcome back to the 125 shootout here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Carmichael goes head over heels. And it's Pingree in second place trying to get through. And Carmichael looks like he might be hurt.
He went down really hard, and now the riders are trying to miss him.
Decker going
He's okay,
by.
that's a good sign, but he's racked himself good. He's given it all he had.
I don't think he's quite sure that he's in Las Vegas right now. Take another look.
Looks like to me he let his front wheel get down in one of those deep holes, started a little bit of a nosedive, and he was riding it out for a couple, then his front wheel ducked down another one, and that was it.
He's trying to get back on the track.
Look at that, look at his back where the looks like
a tire rubber.
Yeah, the tire may have smeared the printing on his jersey. He's not happy.
So now it's Windham, Pingree, John Dowd, and Craig Decker. Decker putting in one of his finest performances.
Yamaha's got to be happy with this evening because Henry making it another heel clicker. Henry qualifying in a 4-stroke, first time ever, winning his heat race, and now if they keep it upright, they're going to go 1-2 in this shootout.
There's a lot of pride right there. Ali Seymour, Kevin Windham's mechanic. And Kevin taking the slick part rather slow right now.
And he's got a huge lead, and it's his teammate Dowd that has worked his way into second. And Dowd's not off the hook. He's got to still look at Carmichael.
He's in pain, I think. Psychologically, maybe physically.
Well, he knows that
he is strong-willed. He has so much fire to win.
Yeah, that's not feeling good either because he just watched Windham ride right by and put his hands in the air.
And before lapping Ferry, Windham takes the checkered flag. A brilliant victory for Kevin Windham. Just completed the 1997 125 shootout featuring riders from the East and West divisions. It was the only time the division leaders got together to grab the bragging rights. And as we check out the Suzuki top 10, you see Kevin Windham, the winner, Dowd, Pingree, Decker, and Sheik. As we check out 6 through 10, I know Davey Coombs now is making his way toward the victory podium. Davey?
Well, you know, here in Las Vegas, the color of money is supposed to be green, but tonight it was blue. Kevin, congratulations.
I felt so good out there, man. Me and Ricky got out, which was the way I wanted it to go, and you know, no excuses on East or West. You know, I mean, I know he went down, but he was riding a good race, and I made a pretty aggressive pass on him, and he surprised the heck out of me and came back and made a little bit more of an aggressive. He hit me pretty good, and that's racing. Luckily, I was able to get around him before he went down again, and man, what can I say? This bike's working wonders for me, and it's the reason I'm up here.
Would you say that this, which is probably your last 125 Supercross win, is the biggest?
It's definitely one of them. This is the way to finish out the season, you know. Every one of my interviews have been Ricky and me, you know, instead of just me, which is sometimes the way the rider wants to hear it. But, you know, Ricky's riding great, and that's what I need is more wins against him.